Jagdish ji, I had sent biodata to principal.
Okay, Maharaj.
Did you see that? Did you get it?
No, Maharaj. Maharaj is principal is meeting in a meeting, Maharaj.
Principal, that.
Yes, Maharaj. But I couldn't get it, Maharaj. But I've taken some materials from the internet and I've just presented.
No, other world internet world what it is.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj. Please, Maharaj. Anupam Maharaj.
I'll cut paste into the WhatsApp, okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Please.
No. OTP lâu mo. Minnow sure.
వేడిగా ఉందంటే రాలేదు కాక Jagdish, you have sent it.
Yes, Maharaj. I have received it, Maharaj.
Oh, got it.
Yes. Yes. Shall we start, Maharaj?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Pranams, Maharaj. Welcome to all. Today, this session, we have a blessed session from Swami Bodhamayananda Maharaj from Ramakrishna Math, Hyderabad. On behalf of our institution, our Secretary Maharaj and our Principal, we welcome you, Maharaj, to this session.
Hi, T.
Kindly, participants, kindly mute your mics. Swami Bodhamayananda Maharaj is currently the Director, Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence, Ramakrishna Math, Hyderabad. Inspired by the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda, Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda during his school days, Swami Bodhamayananda Maharaj joined the Ramakrishna order in Bangalore in 1984 and was initiated into monastic vows in 1993. After initial training, he served the mission in Hyderabad, Visakhapatnam and Chennai between 1989 and 2010 and was involved in various youth activities during that period. Swami Bodhamayananda Ji has so far conducted 1,000 workshops and seminars covering about 6 lakh students, teachers, managers and others on human excellence, management and personality development in schools, professional colleges and many corporates, several states in the country during the last decade. He has also addressed scientists at Abdul Kalam Research Center and DRDO in Hyderabad, ISRO Bangalore, advocates of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, High Courts of Hyderabad, executives of BHEL, HEAL, and BDL. He has been participating in several seminars, youth conventions, and online sessions organized by the Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya since 2 decades. At the Ramakrishna Math, Hyderabad, he has taken the initiative to encourage, recognize, and appreciate the leadership qualities amongst the youth and has trained nearly 500 youth in the Swami Vivekananda way. During the ongoing pandemic period, so far he has hosted and participated in 35 live webinars on education, classical music, youth power, social service, healthcare, science, and Vedic agriculture. To add on, we have the Shakti Science and Technology, Education and Culture, Self-Confidence and Mental Strength, Indian Administrative Service, Swachh Manas and Swachh Soch, Yoga and Meditation, What Ails India Today, The Road Ahead. Again, additionally, Kargil Vijay Divas celebration 2021. So he has graced all these occasions, and we are blessed to have you here, Maharaj. Namaste and pranams, Maharaj. Please continue, Maharaj.
Everybody. Okay. Can you make me co-host so that I can share this one? Problem.
Yes, Maharaj.
Because some PPT is there. And I requested, sir, if some teachers can open themselves so that I can ask question or they can just react to my question. Some teachers can switch on their camera, video camera if possible. Am I audible?
Yes, Maharaj, you're audible.
Yeah. At least 5 teachers, 10 teachers, so that I can know that who they are, or your own teachers or teachers from connected institutions. Yeah. 1 second.
Participants, you can switch on your cameras.
Yes. Namaste to Jagdish ji, Namaste Principal, Namaste to all the colleagues, faculty members from various colleges in the country. A wonderful program organized or initiated by AICTE in New Delhi as part of the new educational policy and co-hosted by Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya, Coimbatore. I'm thankful to the Secretary Swami, the Principal of Department of College of Education, and also our good friend Jagdish ji, and all the people connected with this program, the faculty development program. Many of you are, or most of you are experienced. You have undergone a lot of training, a lot of experience in your personal life, and also in your profession. So this is a very interesting topic suggested by AICTE, that is teacher leadership for higher education. This is the talk of the town, talk of the day, all over the world, how a teacher can become a leader. Leadership does not mean only political leadership or police leadership, administrative leadership, things like that. Leadership is for every factor. Even monks of the Ramakrishna order have to become leaders in one way or the other. A mother is a leader at home, a father is a leader at office or at home. Anybody, a child is a leader at home, because everybody follows the child wherever it goes, whatever it does. And more so with the teachers. To start with, since this is a detailed program and all of you have voluntarily or nominated by your respective colleges to participate, it should not be just a certificate-oriented faculty development program. It should not just be naam ke vaste, as they say in Hindi. Just for the sake of it, we are attending. That is a very narrow way of looking at things. I feel that the purpose of AICTE, organizing it periodically, regularly all over the country. I had the opportunity of interacting with hundreds of teachers at the CBSE level, at the graduation level, at the engineering college level. So this is for higher education as understood. So we have to look at life in a new perspective. It will be multi-dimensional, my presentation and my interaction with all of you. So it will be nice if occasionally you can also share your views, share your thoughts as much as I share mine. We are not going into a sermon. It is not a monologue. It should be a dialogue, because I can learn from you and you can learn from me. That will be more interesting. and more dynamic. Initially, I shall play a small video. It's a bhajan, a Hindi song composed by a great saint of the 17th century by name Brahmananda. He wrote several poems on God, on service, on life, on values, which we sing every week or every time in the Ramakrishna Math Arati in bhajans time, prayer time. And many singers have composed that, have participated in that. So this is a Hindi bhajan, Hindi song. It is not dealing with a God or with a particular religion. It is dealing with life. It is dealing with values. It is dealing with our own inner self. So please listen to that. It is sung by a playback singer in Bangalore by name Karthik Raman. He is a student of Shankar Mahadevan, and he is our guest faculty in Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence. And he is supported on the tabla by Anirudh Sharma, a young student, final year student of mass communication in Hyderabad. Last couple of years, he has been a student of Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence also. So it's beautifully presented. Listen to that. Then we'll share the meaning of it. Then take up the subject, which will be connected with that point. That is the 5 Ws and 1 H.
चेतन देव की सेवा
Is it audible, sir? Jagdish, sir?
It is audible, Maharaj.
Okay.
नर चेतन देव की सेवा करो नर जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारो जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारो घट घट पूरण एक निरंजन घट घट पूरण एक निरंजन द्वैत भाव सब दूर निवारो चेतन देव की सेवा करो नर जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारो जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारो हृदय अंदर मंदिर माही हृदय अंदर मंदिर माही जगमग ज्योत जगे उजियारो जगमग ज्योत जगे उजियारो चेतन देव की सेवा करो नर जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारो चेतन देव की सेवा करो नर जन्म सफल हो जाए तुम्हारो प्रेम पुष्प से पूजन कीजे प्रेम पुष्प से पूजन कीजे मन दीपक धर ध्यान विचारो मन दीपक धर ध्यान विचारो ब्रह्मानंद उलट सुरति को ब्रह्मानंद उलट सुरति को कर दर्शन भव बंधन टारो कर दर्शन भव बंधन टारो चेतन देव की सेवा करो नर जन्म सफल हो जाय तुम्हारो चेतन देव की सेवा करो नर जन्म सफल हो जाय तुम्हारो जन्म सफल हो जाय तुम्हारो जन्म सफल हो जाय तुम्हारो।
Yes, wasn't it wonderful? A very inspiring song, full of meaning. I don't understand the meaning, but I like the music and its harmony. Very well done, Naganathan ji. Don't worry, that is why I am here to tell you the meaning also. The Hindi song, not a Tamil song. The first line says, Chaitanya Devaki Seva Karo. Serve the God in man. Serve the living God who is in front of you. So who is the living God in front of you in the classroom? They are the students. You may go to Tirupati, somebody will go to Amarnath, somebody will go to Kedar, somebody will go to Kanyakumari, somebody will go to some other place, any other temple. But here Vivekananda's message is Shiva Gnane Jiva Seva. Many of you might have heard it. Shiva Gnane Jiva Seva. Serve God as Shiva. Serve the Jiva as Shiva. That is the activities of the Ramakrishna Math mission all over the country, all over the world, in fact. So this bhajan says, serve the God in man, Chaitanya Dev, who is asking for food, who is asking for medicine, who is asking for education, who is asking for some shelter, some peace, some joy. It need not always be food or some jobs or things like that, which the government talks about. So that is called Annadana. Second is called Vidyadana, knowledge, education, literacy. And the highest, Gnanadana, knowledge, supreme knowledge, spiritual knowledge, yogic knowledge, make him free from the samsara bandha. So Chaitanya Devaki Seva Karo. Then the second line says, Nara Janma Safala Ho Jai Tumharo. Your life will become blessed. Your life will become fulfilled. Your life will become safal. That means it will be satisfied. It will be so fruitful, purposeful. Then the third line says, Ghatagata Purana Yeka Niranjana. Dvaita Bhava Sabadur Nivaro. Who are you? Who am I? Who are your parents? Who are your brother, sister, and other colleagues in the college, in the office, in the market? Ghatagata Purana Yeka Niranjan. You are a ghata, you are a pot. A human body is considered as a pot. And this is not ordinary pot. This is not mud inside. It is not dirt inside. Yeka Niranjan is inside. That one consciousness is inside. In you, in me, in all the brothers and sisters of our country, our society, and in the whole universe. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam idea. Yeka Niranjan. What is inside Jagadish is inside me. What is inside me is in Rachana. What is inside me is in Shiva Shankari. What is inside in Shiva Shankari is in Smitaji. What is inside in Smitaji is in Jawhar Babuji. All are part of that universal consciousness. Don't forget that. And when you don't forget that, what will be your expression? What will be your work culture? What will be your leadership? Dvaita Bhava Sabadura Nivaro. Dvaita Bhava, the dualities, the differences, hatred, jealousy, regionalism, communalism, casteism. This is all Dvaita Bhava. I am different, you are different. But when my mind is going up, when my mind is so pure, when my attitude is clear, what will be the byproduct? Dvaita bhav sab dur ho jayega. Everything will be driven out. Not just driven out, they'll be deleted as it were. Wonderful idea. Hirade andar mandir mahi. In your heart, in my heart, in all the hearts of the 200 teachers, and multiplied by your family, multiplied by your friends, multiplied by the population of our country and the state. Ghat ghat purana eka niranjana dvait bhav sab dur nivaro hirade andar mandir mahi. Make a lamp, make a temple of your own heart. Just as much you go to an external temple, the temple of Meenakshi, temple of Kamakshi, temple of Annapurna, temple of Vishwanath, temple of, you may go to a church, somebody goes to a mosque. That is the physical representation of God. But here in this song, the poet saint is telling, Hirade andar mandir mahi. Make a temple in your heart. And what will be in the temple? Jagmag jyot jage ujiyaro. Jagmag jyot, the light of lights. That is the Paramatman, that is the Supreme Being. He is lighted up in the temple. And how do I worship him? How do I tell mantras to him? Prema pushpa se puja kije. Prema pushpa. The flower of love, with the flower of devotion, with the flower of surrender. We have Mirabai in Rajasthan. We have Andal in Tamil Nadu. We have Bhadrachala Ramadas in Telangana. We have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, Sri Ramakrishna in Bengal. We have the Maratha saints, Tukaram, Namadev, Ekanath and others. They did not give big lectures. They did not go to universities. They did not have PowerPoint presentations, but they had the devotion at the peak level, total command. God became God was attracted by their God songs, by their bhajans, by their life. Prema pushpa se pujana kije. Mana deepak dar dhyana vicharo. Light up that lamp. Deepak means lamp. And do the meditation in your heart. And Bhava Bandhana Taro, Kar Darshana, Bhava Bandhana Taro. Brahmananda says, the great saint says, realize God, realize the divinity, manifest the divinity. Why you should do that? Why should I do that? Bhava Bandhana Taro, shade off, remove the Bhava Bandhana. Bhava means the samsara, the world in which you are stuck up, in which you are bound, in which you are suffering. Bhava Bandhana Taro, the bandhana, the bondages, all are sitting on our head like a big heavy weight, and we are crying in pain. But these bhajans, these songs, this meditation, and this realization, this outlook of Eka Niranjana everywhere will bring so much joy in me, so much happiness in me. And I move towards the Mahasagara of joy, Mahasagara of happiness. So this is a very interesting song, which I wish you realize, you understand, you sing for yourself, meditate over the meaning, and become great leaders and outstanding leaders in your own profession, in your own college, in everywhere you move. You become a lighthouse in the society, respected teachers. Now, as Jagadish ji read out or just introduced me, and this is Swami Bodhamayananda, monk of Ramakrishna order in Hyderabad. I'd been to Coimbatore many times. I was in Chennai for 13 years, in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh for 7 years, and in the last 12 years in Hyderabad as the director of the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence. Yes, I will share. Request Swamiji to share the video song. Yes, I'll send it after this one is over, or email, I think, and you can get it, and Jagadish ji can send it, or principal can send it to all of you. Okay. So this Institute of Human Excellence is one of its kind in the whole country, training leaders, especially youngsters, to become professional leaders, academic leaders, and social leaders and spiritual leaders also. Just on the 10th of September and on the 11th of September, we celebrated the 22nd Foundation Day, the Institute of Human Excellence. 22nd Foundation Day. That means our institute in Hyderabad was founded, was inaugurated on September 10th, 2000, the beginning of this century, with a big purpose, with a big background. And I'm going to tell you what it is after presenting this 2 or 3 minutes video about the history and the activities of the Institute of Human Excellence. 24 hours, 365 days, without a holiday, without rest. We have been serving, we have been training, we have been educating, facilitating a 5th standard boy as much as a PG student of the Osman University. And the police, the parents and teachers and doctors and all sections of the society. Let them be bus drivers, auto drivers, corporation sweepers, anybody have been involved, have been offered this training, whether they are the advocates, whether they are the judges, whether they are LLB students and MBBS students. It's a very unique leadership training institute, which is 22 years into service now. One second.
नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नरवन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नरवन्द्यम् वन्दे वेदतनुमुञ्जित गर्हित कामकाञ्चन बन्धम् वन्दे वेदतनुमुञ्जित गर्हित कामकाञ्चन बन्धम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नरवन्द्यम् कटितटकौपीनवन्तम् कोटिभानुकरदीप्तसिंहमहो कटितटकौपीनवन्तम् अभिरभिमुकारणादितदिन्मुख प्रचण्डताण्डवनृत्यम् अभिरभिमुकारणादितदिन्मुख प्रचण्डताण्डवनृत्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नरवन्द्यम् भुक्तिमुक्ति कृपा कटाक्ष प्रेक्षण मघदल विदलन दक्षम् भुक्तिमुक्ति कृपा कटाक्ष प्रेक्षण मघदल विदलन दक्षम् भालचन्द्रधरमिन्दुवन्द्यमिह नौमि गुरु विवेकानन्दम् भालचन्द्रधरमिन्दुवन्द्यमिह नौमि गुरु विवेकानन्दम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नरवन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् वन्दे वेदतनुमञ्जितगर्हित कामकाञ्चनवन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वरमोज्ज्वलभास्कर मेष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वरमोज्ज्वलभास्कर मेष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् वन्दे वेदतनुमञ्जितगर्हित कामकाञ्चनवन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वरमोज्ज्वलभास्कर मेष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् मेष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् मेष्टममरनरवन्द्यम्
So look at the depth and intensity of our service. Nearly 19,69,980 students trained, 98 invitations from various colleges, and we have 110 human excellence centers established in colleges and universities across Telangana. We have 24 plus, that means nearly 30 courses now. A lot of webinars, and the number continues more and more in to all sections of the society, all sections of the country. Okay, so this is just a introductory, this one. Right. Okay, so this 5 W's and 1 H, which I have selected for all of you, which has been repeatedly used or referred to in your training programs, maybe in the first year or in the beginning stages, or updating your knowledge. Before that, let me share 2 stories with all of you. I don't call it stories, they are incidents which really happened. And story number 1 is, which happened at Yale University in 1881. Yale University, one of the prestigious and leading universities in the world, United States. And in 1881, the Yale University in the College of William and Mary had to close its doors for 7 years during the Civil War in America. Okay, Civil War in America. Then the college was deserted. It fell into ruins. And then something interesting happened at that time. You know what is that interest? There was this President Ewell, E-W-L-L, President Ewell of the Yale University, the president, like the Vice Chancellor in our country. He took it upon himself, being the leader in the society, in the country, in the Yale University. You know what he did? Every day morning, exactly at 8 o'clock, he used to come to the college. Nobody is there. No students, no faculty members, no office staff. But this President Ewell used to come religiously at 8 o'clock in the morning, sign the attendance register, go to the chapel, the church in the campus, pray there for 30-40 minutes, go to the tower of the terrace of that church. Because there were no assistants, there were no workers, he used to ring the church bell at about 8:30 or 8:45. That means the classes were going to commence with a short time. And he used to utter that prayer, university prayer, and assuming and visualizing that the college is in progress, classes have commenced, he used to go around every floor, just used to go for a walk with tears in his eyes. And then he comes back to his chamber, picks up some books related with his subject or general knowledge, and he serves. He prepares notes. He records some documents, and then he goes home at 1 o'clock. There were no students, Faculty had disappeared. The rain seeped through the leaky roofs of the desolate buildings. This is what the story is all about, my dear friends. The faculty had disappeared, but President Evel still rang the university bell. And this went on not for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. This went on for 7 long years. This went on for 7 long years. What does this show? What is the meaning of this? It was an act of faith. It was a gesture of defiance. It was a symbol of determination that the intellectual cultural tradition may be kept alive even in a bankrupt world. This is leadership. This is leadership in action. This is not just thinking sitting in a AC room or sitting in high status in the office. We are in the field. We are going to be leaders. We are going to become catalysts of transformation in every situation or in any situation. No complaints, no grumbling, sheer determination, love of the profession, love of the subject, and we are going to make a difference. The next story or incident again, I would like to mention, dear friends, is that the 600 years before the Yale University, that is the Nalanda University in India, in Bihar. What happened there? It is recorded in the Nalanda University history that there was this scholar, Tibetan scholar. His name was Dharma Swamin, his Indian name, who had come to India seeking knowledge. Dharma Swamin had come to India seeking knowledge, and at that time the invaders and the plundering and the burning of the university was taking place, was going on. Bhaktiar Khilji, his group of marauders who had entered India, and the Buddhist monasteries were their main targets of attack. Then the University of Odantapuri was sacked. University of Nalanda was burned down. But this Dharma Swamin and his student, a young Buddhist monk by name Rahula Sribhadra, carried on the teaching work 1-to-1. Only one teacher, only one student. The teacher, Dharma Swaminji, refused to leave the campus. The student started serving the teacher full of devotion, faith, and dedication. In the nights, teacher is sleeping, elderly man. The student is awake, strong man. He is observing from which direction the invaders will come. As soon as the Rahula Sribhadra used to hear the hoofs and the haunts of these invaders coming to plunder the university, he used to run down from the watchtower, pick up that old elderly teacher on his back. And what is so moving there is the teacher is holding all the manuscripts, all the other books, texts onto his chest, covering them with a cloth, and sitting on the back of Rahula Sribhadra. And Rahula Sribhadra used to run into the forest and hide there in some cave or under a tree. And in the early morning hours, when the invaders would leave after plundering and burning the campus, they used to have a bath in the campus well and continue their meditation, continue their studies, continue their teaching. There have been hundreds such instances like that, my dear friends. Whether it's in the east or the west, north or the south, that shows education or teaching profession is not merely a personal problem of the student community or an economic problem of the state. It is primarily a civilizing and socializing process. So this is where Swami Vivekananda mentions, Dr. Radhakrishnan mentions, and all the great educationists and facilitators from ancient times till modern times, they projected this particular idea that education is not the amount of information that is put into your brain, running riot undigested all your life. What we want is character building education. What we want is man making education, nation building faith. And who can do that better than all of you, all of us together in the classroom, in the college, in the university? Give, share peace, joy, strength, like Dr. C.V. Raman, Jagdish Chandra Bose, Meghnad Saha, Satyendranath Bose, or Dr. Kalam in modern times, who gave so much of love, so much of progressive attitude, progressive ideas to the country and to the youth of this country in all institutions. So with this note of these two wonderful stories, incidents which happened, one in the Yale University and one in our own times in our country, I would like to share a couple of presentation points with all of you. Okay. Right. Okay. So let me go and convey my namaste once again to all of you. And then this is the teacher's prayer that all of us should cultivate and think about it every day in our life, along with the prayers to the Supreme Being in any name or form that you try to invoke. Okay. So they encourage me to teach with vision, for I help to shape the future. Empower me to teach with love, for I help to shape the world. Right? Next, O Lord, enable me to teach with wisdom, for I help to shape the mind. ... means the students and yourself also. Equip me to teach with truth, for I help to shape the conscience. This should be on your table. This should be in your mind also. Now, every teacher, he or she, irrespective of your subject that which you are teaching, whether it's a kindergarten child, whether it's a high school child, whether it's senior school child, student, boy or a girl, whether it's pre-university, intermediate, whether it's CSE, whether it's state board, whether it's engineering or medicine, whether it's law or chartered accountancy, all belong to that same family called teachers, right? Or facilitators, or professors, or lecturers, assistant professors. All other things are all gradations given by the society, given by UGC, and given by others. So the first knowledge that you should have is the first W, which is very, very important. And in between, I request you to share your viewpoint on this also after these 5 Ws are presented before you. Okay. So who is the communicator? The self-knowledge. This is a very important W for gaining more excellence and gaining more leadership. Who is the communicator or the self-knowledge? Swami Vivekananda gives the famous story in America on September 19th, 1893. The story is that of the lion and the sheep. The lion and the sheep, famous story. Be a lion, Vivekananda used to tell. And he said, allow me to call you brethren by that sweet name, children of immortal bliss. What is sweet name? Children of immortal bliss. Amrutasya putraha. And he sang a song. It's not a song, it's actually a stotram. Song is stotram, a prayer from the Upanishads. It goes like this. Shrunmantu vishve amrita putraha. Aye dhamani divyani tastuhu. Vedahametam purusham mahantam. Aditya varnam tamasah parastat. Tameva viditva atimrutyumeti. Nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya. Uttishtata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata. 5 lines. which conveys so much of meaning for this one idea called self-knowledge. So this self-knowledge is all about understanding the potentiality, the possibilities, the divinity inside it. Each soul is potentially divine. Atha yoga anushasanam. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? When I close my eyes and tell and address myself, I 10 times. What is this idea before me? Who am I? Am I a combination of material substances? Am I a body and complex? Am I a tiny boat in a tempest, drawn into the yawning chasm one moment and thrown over the high billows the other moment? A wreck in nature? Is that all my life? A tsunami, a earthquake, a fire accident can make everything evaporate, can destroy everything that I have done within few minutes. If that alone is my life, if that alone is my destiny, then there is desperation, is it not? There is chaos, there is unpleasantness, there is unhappiness, is it not? So, you are not a tiny body-mind complex. You may be any profession or any background, any mother, any state in the country. Please keep in mind this one colophon in silver lining. What is that? Amritasya putraha, children of immortal bliss, children of immortal bliss. Amritatvam, immortality. You may be a 5 feet, 6 feet man or woman. You may be a big professor, you may be a big president of a big company, etc. But still, the sun is a sun is a sun. We don't give certificates to the sun. We may have different names for one sun as Aditya, as Surya Narayana, as what you call Bhaskara, Prabhakara. That is all for our happiness. But sun is a sun, Australia or India. So it gives light, it gives strength, it gives life. Every day after day after day. Similarly the moon, similarly the rose. So irrespective of your background, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your mother tongue, irrespective of the state from which you come, the point of interest is you are a child of immortal bliss. Each soul is potentially divine. You can manifest the divinity by controlling nature, internal and external. Do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy. By one or more or all of these and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines or dogmas and temples or forms and rituals are but secondary details. So the lion and the sheep, the lion is attacking a flock of sheep. The third story I am sharing with you. The lion is attacking a flock of sheep in a forest. And all the sheep run away. The lioness actually, it was pregnant, it was carrying its baby. It landed upon a rock and died, giving birth to a lion cub. Then you find the sheep which ran away saw this tiny, harmless lion cub. And the mother sheep, the mama sheep, came back, took care of this lion, and along with the shepherd, the caretaker, they moved on to the village. And there, the sheep were feeding the cub with grass. And the lion cub, which does not know anything except the sheep, thinking that they are the mother and the father, that they are the caretaker, that they love him so much, is eating the grass and enjoying the grass and living a comfortable life with the sheep. Then you know what happened? It's growing into a big lion, a 300-kilo animal, claws and mustache and teeth, everything is growing, but it is eating grass. It is behaving like a sheep, and it is not roaring, it is only bleating. There's another interesting observation there. It is only bleating. Why it is only bleating? Why it is not able to roar? Nobody taught it. It did not learn. It did not go to the lion school. It was with the sheep school only. And the language of the sheep is bleating, right? The sheep is bleating. The lion is listening to that. And it is thinking, that is my language, and it's telling just meow, 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 meow. The roar has forgotten. The fearlessness is forgotten. The intensity of purpose is forgotten. And it is behaving like a sheep. A little sound here and there in the forest of other wild animals. This, Vivekananda calls it the sheep lion, sheep-lion, or lion-sheep, is running away along with the sheep, escaping from the sounds of the forest. Now, my dear friends, the story goes a little further and says there was another lion in the forest, the cousin brother of this first fellow. It was also hungry. It was searching for food, and it came near the flock of sheep and was surprised and shocked to see the flock of sheep and the lion sheep. It gave a signal, thinking that this which is among the sheep would catch one sheep and would bring it, and they will enjoy the meat. Alas, along with the sheep, this lion sheep also ran away because it smelt the danger in the forest. It thought that this is a very dangerous case. It's a very peculiar case. Let me just go and talk to that lion, which is behaving like a sheep. And then, you know what? One day when this lion sheep was all alone, grazing, eating grass in the forest, the second lion slowly went behind, caught hold of this by the neck. I was dragging it into the forest. All through this dragging, the lion sheep is praying, is literally crying in fear. Leave me, leave me, leave me. I'm only a sheep. I'm only a sheep. Have mercy on me. Don't kill me. My God. The second lion was furious. The second lion was so disturbed and said, what? You are a lion. You are not a sheep. Who told you that you are a sheep? No, no, my mother told me. My caretaker told me. Other sheep told me. Said, no, Buddhu. Oh, my fellow Paityam. You are not a sheep. You are a lion. This fellow is not able to believe. No, I am a sheep only. All right. The second education commenced there. The actual education commenced there. It dragged that sheep lion into the forest. And there was this reservoir, a big lake. It showed, hey, look at your reflection. Look at my reflection. My reflection is like your reflection. If I am a lion, you are also a lion. Why are you thinking you are a sheep? No, no, reflection may be there, but I am a sheep only. So that means into the subconscious mind, this psyche of the sheepiness has entered so terribly. It's not able to believe that it is a sheep. Now, what will the leader do? The second lion do? It will not keep quiet because it has taken the responsibility. It wants his own cousin brother to behave and be a sheep, be a real lion, not a sheep lion, not to imitate the sheep, not to behave like the sheep. It said, okay, I am going to give you this one warning. Next week, exactly at this place, you should come near the lake. Otherwise, I'll kill you. I'll beat you. Okay, brother. And it ran away. Now, after 1 week, this fellow comes, the first fellow, the second lion comes, the actual lion comes. The actual lion comes and this time brings a piece of meat, thrusts into the mouth of this sheep lion and says, eat this. This is your actual food. Will the sheep be able to eat? No. Will the sheep lion be able to eat? No, not at all. Because it is habituated only to eat vegetarian food. Only the grass. No, 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 I cannot eat. I don't like it. It gave a whack on the back and said, eat, otherwise I'll break your neck. Ate with little reluctance. Second day, third day, fourth day, 10th day, 1 month, diet changed. Slowly it began to eat the meat. And this second lion used to bring every day this kind of diet because it loves, it feels that the responsibility. So my dear friends, after 10 days or 15 days of this training, now communication skills that we talk about, proper speaking, whether English or Tamil or Hindi or Marathi or Bengali or Telugu, you have to communicate properly. But this fellow is bleating, it is not roaring, That is not the actual language of the sheep lion. Okay. Then you find this second lion is roaring and educating, inspiring it to behave like a lion. It roars. The forest echoes back. It hits the eardrum of the sheep lion. And after 1 week, 10 days of communication skills course, it roars like a lion, forgets that sheepy business, becomes strong physically, mentally, emotionally, wags its tail, heaves its head, and then walks into the forest as the lion, as the king of the forest. Now you see the relevance here of self-knowledge. Swami Vivekananda says, think that you are the spirit. A teacher will become a better teacher. A student will become a better student. A lawyer will become a better lawyer, and so on. A human being will become a better human being. That is where human excellence is all about. We are working on this aspect in our institute and the other activities of the Ramakrishna Math everywhere. So we are looking at this particular idea. Who is the communicator? That is your self-knowledge. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? One question was asked by the great Ramana Maharshi in Tiruvannamalai. Nan yar in Tamil. Sit in the corner and think, who am I? Finally, beyond this body, beyond the mind, beyond the energy in the body, beyond my education, beyond my relationships, beyond my status, I am I. Tat Tvamasi Shvetaketu. You are that cosmic being. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So that is the first knowledge that you should enter into that university. You should enter into the classroom. You should enter into the faculty room with that spirit of self-knowledge. So have that ability, have that strength, think of that strength. Yad bhavam tadbhavati. As you think, you will become. So think of yourself strong, healthy, energetic, nitya shuddha buddha mukta swabhavaha, and with a smile on your face, you will face the brute, you will face the society, and the lion strength inside you for serving the society will be your gift. You will do so much work without tension, without stress, and without any other confusion. Now, the second aspect I want to share with you this morning, rather afternoon now, is to whom are you communicating? Recognizing the ability of the student. What does the gardener do? What does the expert painter do? What does the expert engineer do? Whom are you communicating? Sri Ramakrishna recognized the ability of Narendra. He recognized the ability of Swami Adbhutananda. Who is the Adbhutananda? Who is Vivekananda? They were all the 16 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna was one of the top class teachers of that time. Though he did not go to the university proper, he did not go beyond 3rd standard. But today you have got Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya Coimbatore in Sri Ramakrishna's name, or the Vivekananda University in Kolkata, or hundreds of education institutions spread all over the country from Jammu Kashmir to Kerala, and in Tamil Nadu, 14, 15 institutions for every center having different schools and colleges. Whether Vivekananda College in Chennai, whether it is T Nagar, Chennai having 5 schools, boys schools, the girls schools, or the Ramakrishna Tapovanam having colleges in Tamil Nadu. So anyway, what I'm trying to tell, recognizing the ability of the student is very, very important. So Sri Ramakrishna, the moment Vivekananda came, or Narendra came from the eastern side, entering the room of Dakshineshwar temple, Sri Ramakrishna saw that Narendra belongs to a different strata of society, different sphere in the society, a unique being, a unique person, in young lad in Calcutta. And that is how the training started for 5 long years, my dear friends. 1881, 1886. What a wonderful training. We'll come to that. And I will tell you another ability, how he recognized the ability of another student, an illiterate person. He was an illiterate person by name Swami Adbhutananda. Swami Adbhutananda traveled from Bihar, Chapra district of Bihar, the most backward district in Bihar as it were. Came as a servant boy to one of the devotees of disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And he was bringing some fruit, bringing some flowers to the Kali temple in Dakshineshwar. But Sri Ramakrishna saw through the personality of young Latu. He was called Rakturam. For fun, or nickname was Latu Maharaj. Latu Maharaj did not know how to pronounce the word ka, the Bengali akshara ka, or a, or va, or ka. So poor he is, so illiterate he is, but so pure, so divine, so honest, so upright in his speeches, in his life itself. The value system was very, very strong. So my dear friends, you know what? Sri Ramakrishna, though he knew a little bit of writing, he wanted to teach Latu. He wanted to convey something to Latu Maharaj and said, one day, my dear Latu, sit by my side and you will teach you alphabets. Wow, what happened? You know what? There, K in Bengali, the first akshara is K. Sri Ramakrishna wrote it on a slate and said, my dear child, repeat this K. And with his dual accent of Bhojpuri and Bengali, he just said Ka. K plus Ka, A, Ka. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, my dear child, it is not Ka, it is K. Just cut it there, K. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Young Latu tried, but it was a miserable failure as it were. Latu Maharaj could not utter the word K. It was all prolongated into Ka. Sri Ramakrishna rubbed off, erased off that akshara on the slate and said, very interesting, your education started today, your education ended today. No more teaching, learning for you. Latu Maharaj was so upset. He was in tears. He went into depression. And he saw other boys learning, talking, writing, reading, but he is not able to do it. So my dear friends, Sri Ramakrishna recognized the ability of the student and said, my dear Latu, don't worry, don't worry. This academic education is not for you. A time will come when the secrets of the Veda Vedanta will come out through your mouth. You will attain so much of knowledge. And that became literally true later on. Without studies, without studying any textbook, any scripture, young Latu Maharaj became one of the stalwarts, one of the outstanding spiritual leaders of the Ramakrishna Math mission. He challenged Swami Vivekananda himself. And Vivekananda, seeing his debatable skills and his knowledge, he said, my dear Latu, you are not Latu, you are Plato. You are so full of knowledge. I can do namaskaram to you, I bow down to you. So this is how the teacher can recognize the ability of the student and make his life much better and purer. My dear young friend, faculty members, what are you communicating? This is the third W. What is that knowledge that you are taking about? That through your internet and through your laptop, through your iPads, through your textbooks, or through online classes, till now what we were having in India and in the world also. Now slowly all over the country, the offline classes and the physical classes are commencing, which is a good news. But the knowledge aspect is very important. It is not just a syllabus prepared by the university or by your college. No. If you are restricting it only to that syllabus, or 1 hour or 2 hours or one semester, I think we are doing great injustice to the system, great injustice to ourselves. This hurts. That is where the students are not able to gain that inspiration of knowledge. What are you communicating? You are carrying, you are communicating the fire of knowledge. Nahi gnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. Bhagavad Gita says in the 5th chapter. Nahi gnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. There is nothing as purifying as knowledge in this world. See how Gnana Yoga or Gnana Yagna is given the highest place in our system. And what does this fire of knowledge do to you? What does this fire of knowledge do to a student? Gnana Agni Dhagda Karmanam Bhasmasat Kurute Tatha. Gnana Agni Dhagda Karmanam Bhasmasat Kurute Tatha. The fire of knowledge will burn into ashes all the negativity, all the bad karmas that you may be encountering in life, that may be already in your mind. This pure knowledge, this pure science will burn all the other kusamskaras, negativity, lust, greed, jealousy. So never for a day, I request you to think that you are just a job seeker or just doing a job in a college or a university or school or that. So the growing teachers as leaders, this is also very important. Whether it's a student or whether it is a teacher here or there, the learning curve for teachers is very high, as much as for students. So please carry this open-mindedness into the classroom. Please carry this firmness in the classroom, and you will be able to face the next challenges. Face the challenges of the students. So, you are, my dear teachers, you are not just working in a college or a university. I feel you are the frontline workers during the testing times. On the one hand, as you all know, as you might have seen, the frontline workers were called the health workers, the nurses, the doctors, the ambulance drivers during the COVID time since last March 2020 till today, and that is continuing in many states. But after 2 months, when slowly online classes were the new normal, you had to change the methodology, you had to change the pedagogy, and then you became online facilitators. You learned, some who did not know computer properly, who did not have the practice of teaching, seeing the students in the virtual mode, but you did it. We salute you. We do namaskaram to you. As much as a doctor treated a patient, maybe in your family or in your colleague's family, you took care of the students. You saw that the knowledge did not get stuck up because of COVID, because of Corona. You are unique. Online exams, online classes, and videos and PPTs were all prepared by you. The knowledge flowed of knowledge of Ganga, knowledge of Yamuna, knowledge of Narmada, knowledge of Kaveri flowed in the entire country, right? So in that way, the relationship between the student and the teacher continued. So please think they are carrying the fire of knowledge into the classroom. The next point I would like to share with all of you is this. When are you communicating the knowledge? Whether it's an engineering knowledge or a medical knowledge or a lawyer knowledge or a tailor knowledge, the mental preparation, right? The mental preparation of the teacher and the student. Yatha deepo nivatasto nengate sopama smruta yogino yatachittasya yujato yogamatmanaha. This is the mental preparation. Timing is very important. In cricket language, they say, depends on the spinner and depends on the fast bowler. The batsman, the commentator says, look at his timing. Look at his concentration. Look at his preparation for a slow ball or for a fast ball or a bouncer or for a googly. Similarly, the preparation level between you and the student is very, very important. What is yoga? Normally, when we ask somebody random what is yoga, they say yoga is yogasanas, Surya Namaskarams, a few pranayamas here and there. Yes, that is not yoga, that is yogasanas, physical feats. But here I am speaking about yoga as a way of life. Yoga sadhana, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, gnana yoga, buddhi yoga, abhyasa yoga, ananya yoga. What are they? Preparation for the teacher and the student. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Today we are talking about it because of health and because of our depression and mental health which is at stake. So, yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Swami Vivekananda writes a commentary to that and says, your mind is like a lake. My mind is like a lake. And I am sitting and enjoying the lake. I am seeing the crystal clear water, enjoying the beautiful breeze and the atmosphere in the lake, in the park. I can see the coral fish. I can see the reefs. I can see the plants in the lake. So beautiful it is. I can see wonderful, colorful fish. But after some time, something interesting happens, something terrible happens. People are coming into the park. The children are there. They are naughty children. They want to play. They take up a stone and hit the water and try to hit the fish in the water which are swimming calmly till that 4 o'clock. And once the water is hit by the stone, what happens? The mud comes out. The fish are not hit. Second stone, third stone, 10 stones. The whole water, the lake has become dirty, has become browny. Till the time you are only a witness. Now you feel, why should I sit quiet? So the temptation and inspiration took place in your mind. You take a bigger stone and hit the water and get out. Whole thing becomes mess. Whole thing becomes dirty. So with this, it will take another 2-3 hours for the lake, for the dirt to settle down, for the mud to settle down, and you have lost the beauty. You lost the enjoyment. Throw less number of stones. Prepare yourself for coming into the classroom for higher education, for excellence, etc. So this is Manashanti. Manashanti inside you, Manashanti in the mind of the student. So when the timing is proper, when you're able to analyze and make the classroom into a beautiful place of experiment and relationship and love, I think your job is done. When are you communicating? The mental preparation of the teacher and the student. The fifth W is, why are you teaching? What is the purpose? What is the objective? What is the goal? Why did Swami Vivekananda go to America? Why did Dr. Abdul Kalam give so much of knowledge even after retirement of becoming the president? Even after his term as the president of India was over, what an amount of traveling he did. Here I shall tell you a small, interaction between Dr. Kalam and, the students in Delhi in one college. And by the time the interaction took place, Kalamji was nearly 80 years plus, 80. He died at 84, right? Then one student during the interaction time asked Dr. Kalam, Dr. Kalamji, we do namaskaram to your energy. We are inspired by the energy, the kind of enthusiasm that you have as a young boy or a girl who is traveling left, right, center of the whole country. A small village calls you, you go there. The parliament calls you, you go there. American University calls you, you go there. Anna University calls you, you go there. You are not tired at all. Can you tell us when are you going to take rest? Can you tell us when are you going to take rest? Good question, right? Very sensitive question, very nice question. Then Kalamji asked, my dear friend, a young boy was asking a question. He said, I'll ask you counter question. Please answer me yes or no. What is that, sir? The counter question is, Is your heartbeat taking rest? No, sir. Are your kidneys taking rest? No, sir. Is your liver taking rest? No, sir. Is the blood flow in your body taking rest? No, sir. Is your breathing taking rest? No, sir. Kalamji said, my dear friend, when the entire body is constantly working non-stop, why should I take rest? They are not taking rest. I am also not taking rest. But sir, please tell us, when will you take rest? A very powerful, a very sensitive and a very beautiful answer comes from the mouth of former President of India, Bharat Ratna, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who is in fact an ideal teacher and who is an inspiration to thousands of teachers all over the country, maybe to you also. So he said, please listen carefully. Kalamji said, my dear friend, I shall take rest when you bury me permanently in the graveyard. That is the time of permanent rest. Namaste to that man, to that great teacher president or teacher person. Isn't it wonderful? I shall take rest when you bury me in the graveyard. That means when he is gone, when the body, when he gave up the body or the spirit left the body in our language, where did he leave the body? In a hospital? In a big palace? In Rashtrapati Bhavan? No. He gave up his body in a college or the Indian Institute of Management in Shillong, far northeast, without any health problem, though he had a pacemaker, but still he did not stop working at the age of 84. And that body which could have been cremated in Delhi itself, because the former president, Bharat Ratna, they brought the body back to square one where he was born on the shores of the Bay of Bengal in Rameshwaram. He was buried. There's a beautiful museum which is built on that place where he is buried. The circle is complete. And throughout his life, the objective was very clear. Man making education, manifestation of the perfection which is already in man. We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which man can stand on one's own feet. This is the objective. This is the purpose. This is the goal. Make your students inspired. Teachers need not give instruction. This is my simple language. Teachers need not give instruction, my dear friends. They have to inspire. Today we need inspiration, not just instruction or information. So we have to work on this regularly. So I know there are excellent teachers, excellent individuals, excellent faculty members everywhere. But what is required is the team spirit. We have to work as one nation. We have to work as one family. That is where team building and working together as facilitators is very, very important. Now I'll show you my 5 fingers. Each finger different from the other. Each has got the name. What is this called? Thumb. What is this called? Index finger. What is this called? Middle finger. What is the 4th one called? Ring finger. What is this called? The little finger. Each has got its own duties. The height and the strength of each finger is different, right? But when I put like this together and press the fist, it becomes energy. It becomes a power. We hold like this, power. Compare this to the 5 Pandavas, Pancha Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. Each different from the other, but all the 5 together. These 5 were so full of dharma, so full of karma, so full of bhakti, so full of brotherliness. Not that Bhima agreed to whatever Arjuna said, Or Bhima and Arjuna did not agree to whatever Yudhishthira did and decided, but they did not quarrel or did not go to the Supreme Court. They did not worry at all. They were all together and solved their problems at the personal level itself. That is why Bhagavan Sri Krishna was friendly to them, gave the best of his teachings and love and advice to these Pancha Pandavas. On the other hand, we have 100 Kauravas, 101, and then we know only the names of 2 people. Duryodhana, the eldest, followed by Dushasana. What about the 98? Humorously, I tell, I also don't know. I also don't know. But their names are there. There's a book published by Bharati Vidya Bhavan in Bombay. It's available in other bookshops. The title of the book is Who is Who in the Mahabharata? The title of the book is Who is Who in the Mahabharata? All the 100 names of the Kauravas you will get with meaning. But we are not interested to know them. Because Duryodhana, Dushasana showed what they are. Here Pancha Pandavas, some people in North India, some people in South India name their child, name their son as Sahadev, name their child as Nakul. There is somebody as Bhim, there is somebody as Arjun, there is somebody as Yudhishthir. I have seen that. I have talked with such people with that name plate. But I have not seen somebody naming their child as Duryodhana or Dushasana. Why? The objective, the goal, the purpose is different. So my dear friends, the last point I want to share with all of you is that 1H. How are you communicating? How you are communicating? The practical and the creative approach. So this is where practical Vedanta matters. I shall tell you one small story in the Upanishads. The story of the young Shvetaketu. Shvetaketu was this brahmachari searching for knowledge, and his father himself is a great teacher, Gurukula type in the olden times in India. He goes to his father and applies because he has to follow the protocol. Then something interesting happens. The father says, no, Shvetaketu, I cannot teach you. If I take you as my own student, other students may be biased, may have some narrow-mindedness, and they say, oh, partiality chal raha hai, partiality pan raha hai. So you go to so-and-so, another teacher in another town, and he will teach you. I will recommend you. So young boy goes at the age of 12 years. And that time in India, it was 12-year education. 12 years. No father, no mother. The Guru is the father, the Guru Patni, Guru Bharya, Guru's wife is the mother. So he has to live there, undergo all the training. One Guru, maybe 100 teachers, 100 students, or 200 students. Even Bhagavan Sri Krishna had to go to Sandipini Maharshi and learn from him the arts and the grammar and the sciences and the yoga. Rama, Lord Ramachandra, had to have Vasishtha as their Guru, Kula Guru, then Vishwamitra as the subsidiary Guru, so on and so forth. Vivekananda had Sri Ramakrishna as the Guru. Dr. Kalam had Subramania Iyer of Trichinapalli as his Guru. Because everybody has their own Gurus. They had their own way of learning and communicating. So Shvetaketu goes 12 years of intense training. He learns nearly 100 subjects. Finally, he comes back after graduation. And he's coming back with knowledge and with ego also, ahankara. Very interesting. Father recognizes that this fellow is developed ego, ahankara. And if I leave him like that, this ego will spoil him. He will spoil the knowledge also. He'll be not an asset to the society, he'll be a liability to the society. And he asks him some questions. My dear Shvetaketu, please come here. Boy comes, did namaskaram to his father, that is the Guru and Pitru respect that India showed, and asks him, what did you learn from my friend? I learned this, I learned that. So many subjects I learned. I mastered this, I mastered that. Lot of pride in him, right? And Shvetaketu is taken away from that group. Says, my dear son, go to the forest once again and bring a fruit, a big fruit, like watermelon, Nigrodha apalam, some kind of fruit in the forest at that time. Maybe today it is that kind of, this one is destroyed. So please get this big fruit and come back to the classroom. Come back to the Gurukula. The young Shvetaketu, who is 24 years by that time, young boy, energetic, strong, full of knowledge and ego. He goes to the forest, brings that big fruit. Keep it here. This dialogue is going on in the Chandogya Upanishad. Cut it into two parts, father says. Shvetaketu breaks it into two parts, cuts that fruit into two parts. Father is asking the son, Shvetaketu, what do you see inside? What do you see inside? Shvetaketu says, my dear father, I am seeing 20 or 30 small fruits in the big fruit. 20 or 30 small fruits. All right, my son, take one fruit, one small fruit, break it into two parts. Shvetaketu does it. Now what do you see inside? The third aspect of practical education, practical approach. So, father, I am seeing now many tiny seeds in the small fruit. Dissection is going on there. Practicals is going on. Number of tiny seeds in the small fruit. So big fruit, cut it into two parts. 20 or 30 small fruits are there. Take one fruit, cut it into two parts. You see number of tiny seeds. Very good. And now father is saying, break one seed, make it two pieces, two small pieces. Shvetaketu breaks it. And now, very important, father is asking, what do you see inside the small seed? Shvetaketu, without thinking, without any knowledge, without reasoning, he said, father, I see nothing there. I see nothing there. What? Are you sure, Shvetaketu? You are seeing nothing there? Again, twice, thrice, this discussion is going on. I see nothing. I'm telling you, father, I see nothing. All right. Come after 15 days. This fellow goes home. Father is continuing his education in the school. After 15 days, the boy comes back from his village. And then Shvetaketu's father takes him to a garden nearby and says, my dear son, what are you seeing in the soil? Oh, father, I'm seeing tiny plants, tiny seedlings, tiny fellows. And do you know from where? Do you know from where these tiny plants have come? No, father, I don't know. I'm not aware of it. 15 days back, you broke tiny seeds, one seed, and you told me you see nothing. Yes, father, I remember now. But what is the connection between this and that? Shvetaketu's father is replying, after you left, I took 4 or 5 fresh new seeds and put them in this soil, put them in this place, covered it up with the soil, and every day I was pouring water. And what is the result? From what you said nothing, today you see a tiny seedling, tiny plant. Now, will you say it is nothing today? He understood. From that unseen energy, which I said nothing, this small tiny plant has come. It has grown from that nothingness. That means in that seed there is infinite unseen energy. Aitadapnyam idam satyam tat sarvam sa atma tattvamasi Shvetaketu. What a wonderful message. What a wonderful way of teaching and learning. This is where practicals matter. In Coimbatore education, this one we have mathematics practicals, we have history practicals, we have so many other ways of practicals teaching. In one of our schools in Mysore, there is a practical botany hut in the campus of the institution. Botany is not taught in the classroom there. Botany is taught in the garden, along with the trees. The students are sitting there. They are sitting as if they are sitting in a forest. That kind of atmosphere has been created. It's a beautiful, practical way of communicating. Students feel so fresh, so joyful. So these are 5 W's and 1 H that I tried to share. Who is the communicator? To whom are you communicating? What are you communicating? And when are you communicating? Why are you communicating? The objective. And 1 H is how you are communicating any subject, whether it's a game, whether it's yoga, whether it's mathematics, whether it is physics, whether it's engineering, whether it is computer science, whether it is languages, whether it is drama, any aspect. These are the things that we have to work on. To conclude my presentation of these 5 W's and 1 H, I have not given a sermon. With my experience and with this one, I have shared this only. I am going to present a small video called Recycling Lesson. It is self-explanatory. I'm not going into the details. It is a very practical and beautiful way of learning about recycling and about the hygiene and how to utilize life itself. With that, we'll conclude. Please watch this video and enjoy it, and it's a great message by itself. Well, my dear friends, though this is just a very simple, very small message, but I would like to tell you, today we are talking about recycling plastic, recycling water, recycling paper, recycling garbage, all big talk is going on. But the purpose of this particular FDP for higher education, teacher leadership for higher education, I personally feel more than practical and plastic or water or garbage or anything, what is required today in the mind of the teacher and the student is recycling the mind itself, purifying the mind itself. Once the recycling of the mind and purifying the mind takes place, I am sure plastic and garbage and paper and water, we will be able to utilize better. We will not be wasting them at all. Rather, my mind will tell, I will not spit anywhere. I will not waste the water. I will not throw the plastic. Mind will become my guru. Mind will become my lighthouse. So this is what 125 years ago, Swami Vivekananda gave us the mantra, be and make. Let this be our motto. Be and make. How a leader should be? Kshatra Viryam Brahma Tejas. The strength of a soldier, the concentration of a soldier, and the meditation of a rishi. This combination is very, very important. And let us all work towards that with the help, with the focus, with the assistance of the system which is available to us, and the great message of Ramakrishna Vivekananda tradition, of the Abdul Kalam's tradition, and great Mahatmas all over the country. So, Vidya Dadati Vinayam. With this humbleness, with this note, let us collaborate, let us cooperate, let us support each other and make our life blessed, our life of the students, of the children blessed, and make our Mother India happy once again. Thank you very much. Namaste and Shubhadinam, and wish you good health, strength, and peace to become outstanding leaders of our country and through you to the whole world. Thank you. Namaste. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Maharaj, with your blessings, Maharaj.
Jagadish ji, thank you.
With your blessings, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Maharaj, shall we open the forum for discussion now?
Yes, yes. I will ask, let them ask. They can open their camera and let me see them for once. You can take a photo and keep it for record.
Participants, you can switch on your cameras and you can interact with Swamiji.
What did you feel? How did you feel? And you can introduce yourself.
Swamiji, my humble pronounce to you.
Namaste, namaste.
Namaste. I have heard your lecture, very inspiring, but I have a dilemma, it's a professional dilemma as a teacher. I've been in this.
One small request.
Yes.
I think somebody else also has opened their camera audio. Please mute audio only because I'm getting multiple sound.
Okay. Can I talk?
1 minute.
One minute.
Few seconds. Is it okay? Himabindu, you are from which
Yes,
place
yes.
and what is your?
Yeah. I'm from Hyderabad,
Oh,
and I've been in this teaching profession for the past 23 years.
which college or school?
I'm from RBVRR Women's College. That's at
Okay,
Narayanpura.
you're nearer to us.
Very near. In fact, we do. My grandfather is also associated with Ramakrishna Mutt
Fantastic.
long back. He's Professor Venkatavadhani,
Okay.
who has delivered a lot of lectures in Ramakrishna Mutt as well.
Right.
So I consider myself very fortunate to have heard you today on this FDP platform.
Yes.
Swamiji, my question is, I've been in this profession for the past 23 years.
Okay.
I've had the best of students.
Right.
And even now, when we are addressing the millennials as a teacher,
Yeah.
I find there's a lot of difference in the attitudes, their beliefs, their
Yes.
belief system on the education. And basically, because I feel one of the components is that because of the availability of smartphones,
Yeah.
their knowledge, they feel that they have everything at their fingertip.
Absolutely.
So that is where probably the teacher is not able to influence, though I remain the same teacher, what I was 23 years back and
Yeah.
what I am now.
Yes.
I would like you to kindly throw light upon this so that I can clear my mind. And how do I address this problem?
Yes, I agree with you 100%. In fact, the same question in a different language was asked by one faculty of Bhavan's Vivekananda College. We had a session of FDP with them, and I conducted this session on same almost similar topic
Right.
because UGC and AICT is working on the same lines. And I had suggested, which I'm going to share with you. And since you have put a relevant question, it might be helpful to other faculty members also. Number one, along with, see, this updating or the pedagogy, the methodology of teaching has to change as early as possible. That's where the practicals are very, very important. I understand the arrogance, the attitude, the I know everything attitude, that kind of thing has cropped up, unfortunately. So what we do in our Institute of Human Excellence and of the campus also. Many of your students come to us, your own college students attend our classes, and people from all over background, as I said in the beginning, are there. We are not exposing them to difficulties. We are making them only comfortable. We are making them cozy. We are making them just goody people. The strength is missing, the application is missing, and the sensitivity is missing. Three things are very important for a teacher or for a person as a human being. What are they? Number one, authenticity. Number two, sensitivity. Number three, inner grit. Everybody write it down on your forehead, irrespective of your background. Authenticity is like being a lion. Who are you concept? That self-knowledge concept. But here you have posed a question of sensitivity. Sensitivity in English is, one is emotional, one is crying, complaining, and you say sensitive boy, sensitive girl, like that. I will not explain to that. But here, what I mean, sensitivity is the sharpness. Sensitivity is the fineness. The Buddhi Yoga, which Arjuna was blessed by Sri Krishna before the Bhagavad Gita was taught. Buddhi Yogam Dadami. I bless you with Buddhi Yoga. So that what intricate philosophy I am teaching, I am telling you, you shall be able to absorb. For example, this sensitivity, what we do, we take these young boys and girls who come to us on weekends, etc., and send them to an old age home, to a cancer ward. I'll tell you, I have sent hundreds of boys and girls of this caliber to the Gandhi Hospital, which you know in Hyderabad, and not just as this one, I told them, you take permission from the superintendent or any doctor friend and visit the burns ward. I'll tell you, as I'm telling this incident, my hair is standing on and I'm getting goosebumps. Because this is what the experience is, this is what the transformation is. We have to put them into fire, we have to put them into some pain. Simply telling comfort, oh, you be a good girl, be a good boy, nothing will work today. Little bit of the gold will become an ornament only when it is melted and boiled and when it is what you call designed, right? So what happened in this one, hospital, Burns ward? There was this elderly lady who had come from Warangal, and apparently as a police case, she was burned nearly 80 to 90%, third-degree burns. And she is there waiting for her death. So doctor, what they can do, they can give only an injection. They cannot touch her, whole body is burnt. And then she was wearing this ventilator. And when our volunteers went, so bad smell and whole thing was so painful to look at. And they asked her, they were explaining, the doctor nurse was explaining. And she was victimized by her own husband, who was a drunkard and who had so many affairs with others. So husband burnt her to death. So she is on the last days of her life. And under that ventilator, she wants to express something, wants to say something. So slowly they went nearby because they were sensitized. All that protocol was taken. And then she is whispering painfully. In Telugu, she was telling these volunteers, Valani chuskondi, aa yadhava valani kuda champestadu, which means take care of them in inverted comma. That fellow will kill them also. And who were that them? Two young daughters who were sitting outside in the lounge. And this mother is dying. She is on the death doors. Any moment she may leave her body, but she is thinking of her daughters who are waiting outside, who are teenage daughters. And we came to know after a few hours of the visit that Amma died, passed away. And this one incident has transformed the life of 10 volunteers who were ordinary stuff. They were not saints. They are not this one. They are from your colleges only. maybe from Vivekananda College, maybe from your college, maybe from an engineering college, maybe from what you call another college in Barkatpura, whatever. Their life totally changed. They became so sensitive to other people's pain and misery and suffering. Today, one girl is in Pune doing wonderful work, and one girl from, I tell you, without telling her example, I cannot end my answer to you. She completed her engineering from Guru Nanak College, civil engineering, was a college topper. And inspired by these incidents and by the connection with which we gave these lessons to her, she used to come as a volunteer on Sundays. And after her graduation of engineering, she took 6 months time to convince her mother and father that she will not go into campus placements. And then she joined Gandhi Fellowship. She got selected in Gandhi Fellowship given by Piramal Company, Piramal Laboratories in Bombay. And that Gandhi Fellowship is one of the inspirations of Dr. Kalam. Two things Kalam did very interesting. One is Gandhi Fellowship. The other is Teach for India Fellowship of SBI Group. Kalamji said to this SBI and to Piramal Group, you have crores and crores of rupees, which only few people eat and enjoy. Why don't you give it to the youth of India who will work in the villages of India for 1 or 2 years as per your need? Wonderful. Their profits is supported, is given to the students who will work in the villages of India for 2 years. If it is Gandhi Fellowship, if it is Teach for India Fellowship for 1 year, not in their mother state, but in any other state which the foundation selects. So this young girl by name Shreya Thakkar was selected for this Gandhi Fellowship. You know, she's a Gujarati girl born and brought up in Hyderabad, and she selected far away deserts of Rajasthan. I become emotional in talking about it. Where is Hyderabad? Where is Gujarat? And where is Rajasthan? And what is her background? Civil engineering topper. 2 years she worked, underwent all the pain and underwent all this one in Hyderabad, in Rajasthan deserts, walked in the deserts where she puts a step, it will go 20 feet inside. And the nearest school from her residence was 25 kilometers. And there were women whom she saw, they did not know, they did not have the opportunity to hold a pen also for 40 years. And this young group of 5 to 6 boys and girls who worked in the Chiru district of Rajasthan, 50 degrees in summer, 2 degrees in winter, hardly getting good food, nutritious food. She had lost 17 kilos in 2 years, underwent all the women's problems, but stood her ground, that sensitivity and sacrifice and dedication, and worked as a farmer for 2 months, lifted weights and treated buffaloes and milked the buffaloes also, learned everything. And now she comes back to Hyderabad. And now she is working for orphanages, nearly 10 orphanages in Hyderabad, which is under a group, which I don't know the name, which I forgot. And every week she is there meditating in our temple and becoming one of the strong educators, I would tell, at hardly age of 25, 27. Why I'm telling you this, all these examples is, your girls in RBVRR, I know many of them. I know your problem, I'm understanding, feeling it as you are talking to me. Please expose them to little bit of pain, little bit of seva, little bit of this one. Lot of time we have, enough of this academics, too much of egoism, too much of I know everything attitude. That will be little terrible in the future. You'll be doing great service. I tell you, dear friend, that if you can expose them to this pain and this inspiration, I think their mind will become very soft, very sensitive, and easy to mold a soft mind into a beautiful pot, into a beautiful doll, not only for themselves, but for the whole country. This is my suggestion to you. If you're interested, we'll work together. I've got opportunities, I've got places of interest to show you, and you can bring your students and take them to that particular orphanage or expose them to the Shreya Thakkar, expose them to one lady by name Chandrika in Medipatnam, or to the cancer ward in Laktikapul, all that is, big list is there. And you can, I think, really do great service to the society with the opportunity you have and the experience that you have. This much is from my side.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. In fact, it's a great learning experience hearing from you, and you have disseminated the pearls of wisdom. And yes, I will definitely utilize this opportunity as a teacher to bring few of my students to Ramakrishna Math. And
In fact,
thank you.
I have got a complaint against RBVR also.
Yes, Swamiji, yes.
I have come to RBVR many times, nearly 5 years ago.
Yes, I
and-
have seen you. I have seen you in
Yeah,
person.
and we have opened a center of human excellence there. But afterwards, I lost contact because 5 or 6
I will.
students were so inspired. I think you should
Yes,
revive
yes.
it and
I will definitely take it forward and discuss with the management, because NAC also insists on the
yes,
outreach and extension programs, and definitely associating with an institution like Ramakrishna Math, it
and
will
we
be a
are-
feather in our cap.
and we are maybe 1 kilometer away only.
Yes, Swamiji, I do understand. I think, as you said, our students need that exposure, and definitely I will make it possible to them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Jagdish, anybody else?
Anybody else participants?
Anybody? May not be a
Yes,
question.
sir.
Yeah,
Namaste. Namaskar, Swamiji.
Namaste. Your
Uh,
introduction.
Swa-
Amma.
Yeah, yes, Swamiji. I have a doubt. In the present generation, I mean, from so many generations we can take into consideration, people have sweet coated words,
Yeah.
honey coated words, but inside they are very poisonous. How can we identify such people? I mean, I have been a victim also. Victim in the sense, I see. Only thing is, I used to go to Ramakrishna Math when I am at the age of 14 years.
Okay.
Now almost it has been more than 22 years. But the thing is, only thing is, my father also is into the profession of teaching. He always says, "Do good. If good returns to you, well and good. If bad returns to you, then it will be an experience or a lesson to." That's it.
Yeah.
So
Where are you from? Hyderabad?
I'm basically from Hyderabad, sir, Swamiji. But due to my job profile and my husband's job profile, we got settled at Raipur.
Okay. You are in Raipur now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're teaching there.
I'm working as vice principal for one of the CBSE school.
Oh, very good. You see, number one, now at 1:30, we have light in this part of the continent or this part of the world, and the West has got darkness. After evening, we'll get the darkness and they will get the light. So it is a natural process of black and white. All right. You go to a garden, what is your need? A rose garden, you need good roses. Maybe a red rose, or doesn't matter which color it is, but you need the rose. But if you are careless, definitely behind the rose, there is a thorn. Just because the thorn is there, you don't cut the thorns and complain to the God why you have put thorns behind the tender rose. They are part of nature. Even in animals, they are wonderful animals and dangerous animals. The animals which eat their own children also. So there are varieties in nature, that is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, which is playing havoc in the mind of the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. If you read, this is the problem. This is what we are facing, right? So the Tamas and Rajas combination is hypocrisy. The sweet words, inside poison. This is life. So what do you do if there are bad roads? You don't stop your journey. If there's a heavy storm, you don't stop. You protect yourself. Shock absorber is very, very important in life. Sri Krishna says, make me the shock absorber in life. Manmana bhava madbhatta madhyajimam namaskuru. Mamevaye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. And when you hold on to that higher power, I think he will take you across the sharks and the whales of life. That is one way of overcoming the hypocrisy. As your father rightly said, the people are there. Let us accept that the negativity is there. You see, even in your own body or even your mind, there is a positive side and the negative side. So education is all about manifesting the divinity and slowly deleting the negative, right? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madhamat. Who is free from it? who is born yogi, other than Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, or the great saints of India. From childhood, they were in the flow of joy and strength. But if you take some practical example, the human aspect, everybody passed through that stage of overcoming the negativity, But what I can do in my circle, there are two circles, you have, I have. One is the circle of concern and another is the circle of influence. As a teacher, you have circle of influence. So show that influence, show that inspiration, show that what you call metamorphosis idea to your younger generation, to your students at the high school level, at the primary level. So what is that hypocrisy which we should reduce? I cannot overcome it. I cannot remove it by the root. It will be there. So I convert that goodness into strength. So even Swami Vivekananda, he believed in one person by name, his own disciple whom he initiated and with whom he shared an apartment in New York. You know what happened? When he developed certain jealousy towards Swamiji's name and fame, his own disciple by name Kripananda. And when Swami Vivekananda went to Detroit and came back to New York, this fellow disappeared with all the money without even paying the house rent. Swamiji said, I had to sell my brain to save myself. But he did not. He accepted that. They are also there, what to do. And he shifted his home, and because they threw him out of the apartment because he did not have even a penny. Swamiji cried for 1 or 2 days. What have I done to that Leon Landsberg that he deserted me like this one, as if a waste paper? Anyway, that was part of history. So even in Indian history, you find all these hypocritical people. That was why the back door was opened in Rani of Jhansi's fort, is it not? Rani Lakshmi Bai. One minister was purchased by Lord Canning. And that minister was so nice and so camouflaged. He opened the back doors of Jhansi fort and rest was history. And this young lady died. So let us accept and let us expect, but don't succumb to that pressure. Show your Vajradapi Katorani Mrudunu Kusumadapi. Be like firm as a soldier, firm as a thunderbolt, but soft as a flower. You should be smart to outwit that smartness of that XYZ. That is where your prayer meditation of sensitivity, you understand that so-and-so is playing double game. So you try to cut that there. And that is where the smartness of life is very important. And I wish and hope you will study Swamiji's teachings regularly, meditate, and develop that kavacham like Abhimanyu, and hum honge kamyab ek din. Keep in touch with us through email or through our message. I'll share my number with
Swamiji.
Yeah, I'll leave my number with you. Anybody interested can keep in touch. We'll form a wonderful teachers community group of human excellence.
Yes,
My
Swamiji.
number is 9959 300 112. I'll type it in the chat box. 9959 300 112. Bodhamayananda. So for everyone I have typed Bodhamayananda. The email also is there. bodhamayananda@gmail.com. Simple. Yes, you can communicate, you can share your experiences, views, and we'll share wonderful message and keep up that spirit of learning and joy to all with all of you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Jagdish ji.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank
And
you very
truly
much.
we will be an inspiring teacher rather being an instructor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Maharaj. Kandipa, Maharaj.
Possibilities are there and we have to do it.
Sure,
Utilize-
sure. Maharaj.
Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maharaj. We are blessed to have you here.
Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So I'll meet again, all of you, sometime, somewhere. World is a global village now.
Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.
Yes, thank you. Jai
Thank
Ram.
you. Thank you.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I leave the meeting.
Yes, Maharaj.